Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. With Alpha 3.14's live release on the horizon, I would like to tell you what my favourite features are within the new build. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Thank you guys so much for the support. And if you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. So Alpha 3.14 is a patch that I felt dropped in hype a few months ago when many of the more exciting features originally slated to release in this patch were pushed back to Alpha 3.15. And for many, this left Alpha 3.14 feeling a little empty. But there are some very exciting features and, even more importantly, milestones in Alpha 3.14 that should not be overlooked. So today I would like to run through some of my best features releasing in Alpha 3.14 and why many of them are pretty important. So let's start off small, very, very small. One snippet about Orison that I really love and you all have to visit is the Stratus shopping centre, but in particular, the Kelto store. Now this convenience style store has so much charm, I just can't help but keep frequenting it. It reminds me very much of the Shenmue shops and how engrossed I was with them, but also service stations along the motorways in real life. They are pretty much the 30th century take on 7-Eleven stores and will be found throughout many of the R&R truck stops and even offer their own slushy style drink called Hydrofroz. Now what I find hilarious about these stores is its range of products, from sandwiches, beer, plushy space whales or fruit, to t-shirts and even firearms. Now I really don't know what it is about this shop that I love so much, but it's great seeing that these shops are growing in style and diversity while offering actual usable and useful items. And I am looking forward to seeing all the other types of stores that will populate the verse, all with their own established lore and history to them. Like for example, the first Kelto Con store was established around 851 years ago in 2100, which is pretty neat if you are into that kind of thing like I am. Now the next feature or improvement is also a very small update, but one that I think we have been needing for quite a while now. The desync issue with hand mining appears to have been resolved. What I'm talking about here is when you crack a rock using the multi-tool, it was always a real pain to have to pick everything up, as the game world would desync and you would have to wait a literal 30-40 seconds before you were able to pick up another one, which resulted in a very painful experience. Now this issue appears to have been resolved as it is now smooth. You click on a gem, you pick up the gem, storing them as you would expect. Now whether this is a result of the recent speculative desync fix or something else that I don't know about, I am very happy to see that it is now working as intended and once again an available option for making credits. For new players, this is a great gateway into the mining profession as you can get into hand mining reasonably cheaply, as all you really need is a multi-tool, a mining attachment and a backpack. I've also been hoping to do a mining specific Zero to Hero Let's Play here on YouTube, so let us hope that 3.14 is the patch to start this and we can begin making our fortune prospecting. Now one of the most significant features with Alpha 3.14, which is a major milestone in itself and was almost a 4.0 milestone until CIG decided the inclusion of a second star system to hold that title, is the Crusader planet. Now the tech to make this even possible has been in the works for years and should not be overlooked lightly. The ability to create volumetric clouds to this scale and a gas giant at that is quite a significant achievement. And for tier 0, it is amazing to see. Now, although the clouds can of course and will benefit from some improvements which are still underway, they already look phenomenal. And looking at what we have, seeing the sun setting or rising over Crusader and its clouds is quite a sight to see. But these will continue to be improved over the course of development and I am really eager to see what CIG can achieve here. But more importantly for me personally, Crusader holds a lot of significance, and for anyone who was around for the first version of the persistent universe being Alpha 2.0, which was I think way back in 2015, when we stepped out into the verse for the first time, all we had was the Port Olisar space station and the ever-looming placeholder gas giant that was Crusader. So for years it has intimidatingly stared us down, and what begun as the first planet of the Stanton system became the last to complete. So for backers who were around back then, the significance of Crusader is more of a symbol or a milestone, and now with the completion of all the celestial bodies that inhabit the Stanton system, it means the rest of the verse can finally expand, as we are still yet to see the Aaron Halo asteroid field and gateway, and many other points of interest, from villages, towns, settlements, and much more to come. In fact, it was only with the most recent Galactopedia update did we learn that back in 2906, the first permanent homestead on Selin was constructed, with many residences established thereafter. So perhaps that is a little sign of when CIG will begin rolling out these NPC homesteads early next year. Selin may be one of the first locations to receive one. Anyway, you can't mention Crusader without talking about Orison. The final main landing zone is most certainly one of, if not the most impressive and attractive landing locations that we currently have. Suspended high within the upper atmosphere of the Crusader gas giant, it has ever-expanding vistas, incredible sunrises and sunsets, as I say, and a gorgeous backdrop of clouds that really creates something completely unique in Star Citizen. It is made up of 3 main platforms. We have Cloud View Center, where the player's apartments, Stratus Shopping Center, the hospitals, and more are located, the August Dunlo Spaceport, and my favourite, the Providence Industrial Platform, plus many other platforms that you can actually visit and land on should you wish to. Now, as mentioned before, Orison is the final main landing zone that CIG were aiming to release before moving on to more planetary points of interest. So aside from its beauty, its relevance in helping to establish the first complete star system should not be overlooked. When you do visit Orison, be sure to read the many info screens that are dotted around, providing some lore into the environment should you want to feel more a part of the verse. And eventually the clouds will be improved, and those storm wall tours that you see at the Cloud View Center will be a real thing, allowing players to observe the space whales in their natural habitats. Now, next up, I have put hospitals on my list. However, these are not fully functional yet. Only the buildings with small interiors ready for when the medical updates release in Alpha 3.15. Now, what I love about these hospitals, which are only available in Orison and New Babbage, I believe, at this time, is how they show me what's to come. Touchscreens, medical trolleys that you can interact with, and pharmacies to purchase your medical supplies. All available in a cool looking location, which will open up a huge aspect of Star Citizen in 3.15, being the precursor to Death of a Spaceman and the deep medical profession. Also, for all of you lore lovers out there, in the most recent Jump Point, we were informed of the Brentworth Hospital's history, which again further expands my appreciation for these places. Alpha 3.15 is, of course, where these locations will come to life, but for 3.14, they are definitely worth a visit, as I'm sure many of us will be spending far more time in them than we intend. Now, of course, we can't talk about 3.14 without mentioning the huge changes to all things space combat. This includes missile operator mode, power management, and the expansive amount of balancing that is still ongoing on the PTU. Now, I won't delve into each of these too much, as they are pretty much individual videos on their own right, but all of the ships and weapons are currently undergoing a monstrous balance pass to establish a proper foundation to build upon. Now, this is of great importance to the PU as they move closer to the beta, and of course close out Squadron 42. They must ensure that the weapons and ships feel like they should, nothing is too overpowered or underpowered, and everything's characteristics behave as they are supposed to. But do bear in mind that Alpha 3.14 is just the starting point for this, and there are many more changes to come, with other weapon types and components yet to receive this treatment. But personally, I feel this is such an important step into making ship combat more what CIG intend it to be, which is skill-based and less meta-based, having to really think about what loadout to equip based on your knowledge of what you are going up against and your own personal preferences. Now, of course, what we have even now in the PU as balancing continues is not the final version and will continue to develop over the next few patches. Not to mention there will be another round of balancing needed once the physical material and damage system is introduced. But I do expect that the foundational balance pass that is happening right now will be of help once they do finally implement the physical damage system. The missile operator mode brings a huge overhaul to missiles, torpedoes, and how we use them. It also changes up the behaviors of ordnance and improves their performance and tracking abilities. Plus, it opens up the option for a second crew member to make use of them while the pilot focuses on flying or using their weapons. A great improvement over what we had and makes missile-focused ships more formidable, at the same time slightly expanding on the multi-crew aspect. The power management system allows more granularity to combat and creates a bit more of a tactical thinking approach to ship combat, which is what CIG are striving for. I personally really enjoy the new system as it keeps me on my toes, thinking about my approach or defense and feeling more punishing if I make a mistake, requiring me to practice further. But as with all new features, there will be a lot of time needed to iron out the kinks and balance as they go, but already I do feel that ship combat has become a more refined and sophisticated experience, encouraging thought over simply holding down the fire button, and I'm very eager to see this continue to evolve. Now the final feature is the scanning and radar updates. On the surface, they're not very huge, although the updated HUD is definitely an improvement on what we had, but it's more what's happening under the hood that I'm excited about, as it is a huge overhaul that exposes lots of areas that design can then use to change, fluctuate, and add to, as well as allowing the system to be used for any other area of the game, like FPS for example. So as much as the scanning and radar updates are a much needed improvement on what we had, it is more the exposing of the system to allow CIG to expand it much further than what was available before, like a bounty hunting app, being able to scan players or NPCs on foot to gather information looking for your target, an FPS mining scanner perhaps for players mining on foot, plus many more options that I expect to see later down the line. So that is, in my opinion, the best features coming in Alpha 3.14. Now there are some more updates and features that I have left off, and of course many of these are short-lived updates, not providing new gameplay or missions as such, which I know many of us, myself included, are really looking forwards to. And if combat isn't your thing, beyond exploring the new landing zone, there just isn't a lot for you in 3.14. But I do personally feel that Alpha 3.14 is a hugely significant patch that hits many milestones that were necessary before CIG can further expand. Alpha 3.15 though is now only a couple of months off of its estimated release date, so it won't be too long until focus shifts over to that patch. And with 3.14 yet to release to the live servers, it might be quite a short-lived patch anyway. But with that said, I do expect a live release very soon as they are just polishing off the last remaining bugs, so hopefully when it does release to live, you can find some fun out of it nonetheless. Anyway, this is the end of the video. As I say, if you do enjoy my content, please do consider subscribing and helping my channel to grow. Also, if you want to talk more about Star Citizen and just hang out, you are all more than welcome over at twitch.tv/supermacbrothers. Hit that thumbs up if you don't mind, it does the channel a big favour, and tick that bell if you want to be notified when my videos go live. Again, massive thank you to my patrons and channel members for all of their support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.